All right, so we are like within 10 days of a huge event here in the state of Maryland. As coming up not this week, next week, you're going to want to descend upon Cecil County and Fair Hill for the Maryland 5-Star. Joining us now to tell us a little bit more about the 5-Star, she is a world-class equestrian. She is Savannah Woodge Fulton, and she is with us now here on GCR. Savannah, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning.
Of course, excited to chat about my favorite event.
Savannah, so I know that this year you're not competing, but you have competed before. Can you take me through, as someone who's based here, like what it has meant to you to have this event here and to have had the opportunity to compete?
It's incredible. I mean, growing up in Maryland, growing up competing at Fair Hill over my lifetime, to see so many people come together to put on such a huge event and bring so many spectators and competitors from all over the world. It's an honor to have everyone here in our backyard.
And I think you can speak to, like, it's so we know there's like the world class, the 5-Star event, but that's not the only like competition that's going on. It really is a major weekend for the entire sport.
For sure. So not only is there a 5-star, there's also a 3-star. And then they also have the Young Horse Championships for 4 and 5-year-olds. So you can sort of see the development from little babies at 4 years old all the way up through, the oldest horse at the competition is going to be 18 in the 5-star. So you
Wow.
can really get a feel for how we bring them up and how we produce them. And yeah, it's really going to be exciting.
Savannah, I went out for the first time last year, and I remember going and taking a look at the cross country course and seeing some of these jumps and just thinking like, this
Wow.
this looks insane. Like this looks like you have to be evil Knievel to be willing to participate in this type of event. Now, again, I say that as someone who clearly has no experience having done this, although I will tell you that I am married to an equestrian.
Okay.
Um, but like I say that all to say, is it as crazy as it looks to me, or within the world are you guys like, yeah, this we do this. This isn't all that nuts.
It depends when you ask. I don't
Okay.
think there is a settled stomach to be had on Saturday morning before the cross country. Having said that, this is the pinnacle of the sport. This is the very best of the best. This is higher than the Olympics. Um, so you're not seeing just any sort of Joe Schmo. There's very strict qualifications and very various different steps that you have to go through to be able to compete at that level. But it is a true test of horse and rider. It is the most ultimate sport in my opinion.
So we're chatting with Savannah Fulton, FMF Equestrian out in Finksburg. She's with us here on GCR as we're getting ready for the Maryland 5-Star next week. Savannah, I asked this because it is often fascinating to me as well to watch the various disciplines. And like I try to make a comparison. It feels like it's almost like asking a basketball player to then go play like soccer with the basketball later, right? Like how do competitors, or how are they able to focus on and train and practice enough on the various different aspects of competing, because I feel like that's a really underrated part of what makes this sport so incredible.
1,000%. It's you really have to be good at compartmentalizing, and it sort of brings a whole new level to the meaning of jack of all trades. Not only do they have to be really good at one thing, but for the dressage, it's a little bit counterintuitive to the cross country, which makes them a little bit tired, and that can make the show jumping even more difficult. And like you said, it's like asking a basketball player to go do ballet the day before and then go run a cross country event the day after. And so it's a lifelong training build up to be able to sort of put all three pieces together in one weekend.
Again, I know these are dumb guy questions, right? But like, do you get to a point where like the horse is really good at one of the disciplines, so you're like, okay, we don't have to worry about is that one as much, and maybe spend more time working on the others, or like does it just not work that way?
No, 1,000%. And every horse is a little bit different, just like every person is a little bit different, and they definitely have their strengths and their weaknesses. And so you just try and put together a program. I would say for these horses specifically, the fitness component to be able to go on that very long course on Saturday is sort of the base of your program because they have to be fit enough to compete. And then sort of from that, based on your horse's strengths and weaknesses, you can fine tune the program so that you can work a little bit more on where they need help.
Savannah, the event itself, can you speak to what it means to the entire community in Maryland? Like, how much has this changed the reality for the equestrian community having this event over the course of the last few years?
It's huge. There's only a handful of these events in the entire world. Up until Maryland Five Star was created, the only one we had in North America was in Kentucky. And so if you wanted to do a 5 star in this country, you were very limited to, and Kentucky is an amazing event, an amazing facility, but it's in April, and obviously that's many months of the year. So if your horse isn't peaking right at April, you either had to wait another year or pony up the tens of thousands of dollars that it costs to put your
Wow.
horse in a plane and ship it overseas to compete one of these events. So now that we have one here in Maryland on the best footing, I think, anywhere in the world, it's incredible. And you're really starting to see that with how many overseas competitors we're getting that are getting the words getting back to them that this is truly an amazing event. And it means a lot that they're putting their horses and their teams on the planes and coming over to compete here.
For people, and I will acknowledge, Savannah, I was one of these people, and somebody might judge me and say, didn't you just say your wife's an equestrian, and doesn't this make you kind of a bad husband? All right, ease up over there. But I showed up for the first time not really knowing a lot about what I was getting into, like what it is that I was going to watch. And so I wonder if you could help out, because a lot of our audience is still probably like, yeah, I'm aware of the sport and I've heard you talking about it, but I still don't really know what it is that I'm going to go watch if I go up there. Can you kind of give some advice, some tips to folks who have thought about it, who want to check it out, but don't know, like, hey, what day should I go, and what should I be looking for, things along those lines?
For sure. I would say, if this is your first time experiencing this kind of thing, Saturday is going to be the day that's going to capture you and take your breath away and make
Yeah,
you go, what the hell is going on
it's
here? These people
nuts.
are crazy. These horses are incredible. Um, and that's, very outdoors. That can be as much or as little walking as you want. But the track is huge. It's beautiful. It'll be that sort of the adrenaline day. Um, Friday and Thursday are going to be the dressage days. That's a little bit more like the dancing days. If you appreciate the finer things in life and like watching nuanced performances, that's sort of going to be for you. And then on Sunday, if you really like sort of the nail biter, it's all right in front of you in the grandstand. You see one person after the next come through, and that's really sort of the edge of your seat. It's fast paced. It's wild, and everyone really cheers for each other. And I will say too, like eventers as a whole love talking about their sport and love explaining it to people. So if you're new to the sport and you're not quite sure what's going on, look around, grab someone who looks like they know what they're doing, and
Yeah,
say, "Hey, can you tell me what's happening?" And they will talk your ear off for the rest of the day.
and give you a better idea of how to follow what it is that you're seeing. That's a really good point, because I do think it can be intimidating for people, but that's a great point that there's a lot of people that would love to tell you more about the sport. If you
Probably more than you'd like to hear about, but they will tell you all about it.
I can understand that too. And did I just see that you're going to be part of the broadcast this year for the event?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the final schedule is yet, but I'm going to be there certainly on Saturday, enjoying all of the competition and all of the food
Yeah.
that's going to be there.
And that's the other part. Like, on top of the actual event, it's like a giant fall festival up at Fair Hill. And so it's a perfect weekend to get up and check out Fair Hill. If you've never been there before, it is, as Savannah keeps saying, a beautiful, beautiful property, and a really cool chance for you to just have a fun day hanging out, great food, beer festival, the Corgi Cup. By the way, we need more Corgi Cups in our world. We got to figure out a way to do that more frequently. But that's all at the Maryland 5 Star, Maryland 5 Star with the number 5.us. Savannah, if people want to find out more about you, where can they follow you, or FMF? Where can they check you out?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Woodge Fulton, Woodge. I am the only Woodge Fulton.
But by the way, can you tell
And
me where Woodge came from?
I have some very interesting parents, and
Okay.
They just said, "Oh, it looked like it would," and so here we are, that many years later. I'm
Uh,
hoping eventually it'll become like an Oprah or Beyonce thing. I can just drop my
You're
last
right.
name.
You'll just be Woodge. Fair enough.
But yeah, we've got to get a few more people out there supporting eventing before I'm famous enough to do that.
And fmfequestrian.com as well.
Yep,
And I'll make sure. I'm sorry. I've been saying Savannah the whole time. I'll go with Woodge moving forward. That's a promise. Woodge,
perfect.
I truly appreciate you spending the time with us. We can't wait to get out there next week for the Maryland 5-star. Thank you for spending the time with us this morning.
Of course, enjoy.
That's Woodge Fulton, a world-class eventer, and again, the Maryland 5-star. Not this coming weekend, but starts next week, and everything kicks off out at Fair Hill. Thursday and Friday for dressage, cross country on Saturday, and the show jumping on Sunday to crown the champion of this world-class event right here in our backyard. And yeah, I had to go. Like, admittedly, and I said this before, like, we were talking up the event the first year, and I was kind of talking out of my butt a little bit because I had no idea what it was. I had been to, like, my wife, when we first started dating, was still doing horse shows, and I had been to a couple of them, but truth be told, even then, I wasn't really paying attention. I was just there because, I was dating a girl and needed to show interest in what it was that she was doing. I went last year, and like the cross country, just seeing the course, even before I saw a single jump, just seeing the course, I'm like looking at it like, no, no, you're not. You're riding up to this thing on a horse and thinking that you're gonna jump that. No, ain't no way, ain't no way. And it is crazy, man. Like, it really is, like, defying physics in what you would believe that a horse and rider could do. So it is a very cool thing, and it is my goal. Again, I'm trying to figure out a day that I can go with the family this year, because we ended up doing 2 different days last year. I went up one day, and then my wife and kids went up a different day, and so I'm trying to figure out if I can make that all work all at once. It's difficult with my schedule, but hopefully I can pull that